So we've seen also that concerning the Lagos state government, another major concern is that issue of dredging, which the state government has asked some of those people who are doing that activity to stop at this moment. What has that been complied with?
Well, let me first of all, if you permit me, to go back to the history of that and to say that since 2014, there was actually a judgment that was issued out with respect to the control of the waterways. And I'm happy to sit here and say that just this July, the Court of Appeal actually granted a judgment in favor of Lagos State to say that indeed the intra-inland waterways falls under the jurisdiction of the state, and the Lagos State House of Assembly has every right to come up with laws with respect to the intra-inland waterways. And so what does that mean to both operators and dredgers? It means to say that Lagos State is in control of her intra-inland waterways, and by being in control then, this now gives us the authority to be able to restrict and regulate all of the activities, both from the boat operators, people that own boat clubs, people that own jetties, dredgers, and whatnot, and ensure compliance. So the notice that was actually given was a period in which we encourage all waterways users to come in and regularize their activities on the waterways, and that, of course, without a doubt, includes dredging as well.
But let me just put you on hold, just so I get a better perspective about this. It's a 7 days ultimatum given by the state government, Mr. Adeboye. But to what extent would you say that the Lagos state government have been able to succeed in curtailing or actually stopping these dredging activities?
Well, let me say this, that I liken it to a drug addict. If you're addicted into drug and you want to undergo a period of de-drugging, it's going to take time. The issue of the control of the waterways has been in contention. And then now the Federal Court of Appeal has judged to say Lagos State has control over its intra-inland waterways. And then you are now getting people who are already used to an attitude, particularly those who are used to going to the federal forest, the federal agency, to obtain all manner of permits to dredge our waterways. And then they get it done at much more, lesser regulations. And therefore, they are prone or likely to want to patronize that place. So now that there is a new judgment, then you're getting people to comply with the new judgment, we will expect a period of de-drugging, a period when people will get to acclimatize with the new change, with the new tide. So the 7 days of 20 years in place, we'll be having meetings with stakeholders, the dredgers, the boat operators. We just had one this morning, superintended over by the Commissioner for Waterfront, to explain our position and, enlist their support to say that this is Lagos State, this is your state, this is the state that has catered for the entire waterway. This is a state that, irrespective of the judgment, that first of all give judgment in favor of those who went to court, who are the dredgers.
But this is what we know. So my apologies, just let me butt in there. But this is what we know to this point. We know that some areas, for instance, Oworoshoki, coastal area of Lagos, has seen a massive scale of dredging going on there. And there we have seen also that has forced some displacement of water, and the people along that axis are complaining of water flooding into their homes. We've also seen massive developments along the Eco-Atlantic area, and we've also seen in Ikoyi very recently, around the Osborne area, people have complained about water coming. What's actually going on? Okay. Is this dredging part of the problems?
Yeah, let me explain to you. Everybody wants to go to heaven, but nobody wants to die. We all want development, but nobody wants to give up the bad attitude. Explain that to me. So I explained that to say that what you see going on in Oworoshoki is a development that is being done in the interest of Lagosians. You want to see that the program of Governor Akim Mambodi is to have an intermodal means of transportation, a transportation on water and on land that can be integrated. And then there is no way by which you integrate this without having a major depot that will serve as a combination of where you can come on ferry, and then you can embark from ferry and disembark from ferry, and then go on the bus that is waiting to take you to other parts of Lagos. So this, what you see going on there, is for the interest of Lagos. There is no way by which we will continue massively spending money on road, infrastructure without a complementary role.
But what will this bring? What will this bring to the table, Engineer Kamson? What will this bring to the table for the people of Lagos?
I mean, if I wanted to list what this would bring, we will be here all night, but I'll try to summarize it. I think specifically speaking to water transportation, like Honorable Paul Kalajai has said, His Excellency's vision for water transportation is not in isolation. It's looking at it holistically as a form of integrated transportation. So all of these developments speak to what is going to be a planned phase approach towards the development of a world-class water transportation system, starting, of course, with the issue of navigation. And so what we're seeing in terms of the dredging that is going on at these locations has to do with ensuring that the waterways are navigable, that can accommodate, vessels of varying depths. We're, looking at not just the regular size ferries, which is what we see, but also larger size ferries that can move people in masses, because we're looking at water transportation as a means of mass transportation.
What, are you going to have ferries on the waterways, developing the waterways?
Well, ferries
how's that going to work?
Ferries on the waterways as a rolling stock, and that's actually the last phase of this planned approach. So what we're seeing right now is, as I mentioned, is what the navigational aspect. Then we have the infrastructure aspect, which would actually be the terminals. And so that area, as was just mentioned by Honorable Paul Kalajai, is to say that those terminals would actually house the different integrated modes of transportation. So it's not just where you have a jetty where passengers are embarking and disembarking. You would also have a bus terminal, and then in some places in Marina, will be connecting to the rail terminal. So as a Lagosian, I can actually park my car there and hop on a boat or a ferry, connect with a bus and take the rail. And that's the way we see the future of Lagos in terms of public transportation.
Interesting. Now there's also been this controversy, Mr. Adeboye, there's been this controversy on who controls the waterways in Lagos. I'm trying to see how we can delineate what we have between the inter and then the intra waterways in Lagos. But we're going to take a look at that just shortly after we return from this break. You're watching State of the Nation. We'll be back after these messages. Stay with us.